Hello. All right. We've got something a little special for you tonight. This is another Beefloaf brainchild here. We're going to do a draft of the 1985 Bears. So we've got a few people on hand. So it's obviously me, got Beefloaf, Aloha, Mr. Hand, and a very special guest, Gas Money Bob, going to join.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Bob.
Hell yeah.
And just to make it interesting, we're going to go 8 picks each. So we're going to draft 32 players or staff or whoever that is associated with the 85 Bears. We're going to be pretty free with it. We pick whoever you really want. You can see one of my draft picks is probably, got his he's kind of dunking on me right now. But so the draft order is going to go. It's going to go me, then Gas Money Bob, then Aloha Mr. Hand, then Beefloaf. We all have some notes. So if we're looking down, it's us looking at our excellent notes that we've taken on the 85 Bears. I watched Play It Again Bears on YouTube yesterday so that I could remember all the great plays and all the great Keith Ortego blocks that happened during the season.
Janet Davies is quite a smoke show in that too, man.
You know what?
I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you watch it on YouTube, it's all from like VHS, so like it's all grainy as fuck. Like half of them don't have any song. It's just silence. Did what I could to research. All right, so I'm gonna kick this off, and then we're gonna get going. So I'm up first, and I think the pick is obvious, or maybe it's not. I'm gonna go with the Super Bowl MVP, who had 17 sacks that year on the greatest defense that's ever lived. I'm going Richard Dent.
Sack machine.
One of the best answers ever.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a great pick.
Yes. Hard to argue with it.
I mean, his season was outrageous. And for some reason, if you go to Pro Football Reference, he's one of the only people that they credit with forced fumbles that season. I don't think that was a stat then, but they still gave him 7.
Yeah, they didn't really have tackle stats either, right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's true.
But some guys have them. I don't get how some guys have them. Like someone at Pro Football Reference was like, I'm gonna go find out how many tackles this guy had. Fuck the rest of the team.
It was probably his agent during his contract negotiations after that.
Yeah, didn't he want to get traded in the preseason or the off season? Richard Dent, along with Todd Bell and somebody else.
Al Harris.
Yeah.
Todd Bell
both wound up sitting out.
32nd, 33rd on my list for this draft.
But Dent is easily the best 8th round pick ever, I would think, right? I didn't do research on that, but I would assume.
You'd have to think so. I mean, he's probably the only Hall of Famer out of the 8th round.
Yeah, would agree. I can't think of anyone better. I can think of a 6th rounder that'd be better, but.
All right, Bob, you're up.
All right. I'm going to go with the man that made every player on the Bears a better player. His name is the coach, Mike Ditka, the best coach in league history, led the 85 Bears to the greatest dynasty of all time, a Chicago icon, the best to ever do it.
The best marketer ever, too.
That's right.
I mean, we did that episode a while back where My Sock Summer told all the Ditka stories, and the absolute best one is when he took a gigantic shit and broke the toilet at the cigar shop, and then was like, no, I just took a piss. That makes him number 2 overall pick easy. That's it. Well deserved.
I can't believe he fell to me.
With bowel movements like that, how could he?
All right, Mr. Hand.
All right. Well, I got to do it. Are you ready? I got to do it.
Go for it.
Well, they call me Sweetness, and I like to dance, running the balls like making romance. We've had the goal since training camp to bring Chicago a Super Bowl champ. We're not doing this because we're greedy. The Bears are doing it to feed the needy. Don't. How's the rest of it go? Shit. Oh, well, that's good enough.
You almost got it. You almost got it all the way. That was impressive.
It's a very impressive.
I was not going to do that.
It's Walter. Without question, it's Walter.
I'm
What I
a
love
parent.
about that, he's like dubbed into the video, isn't he? He wasn't
Yes,
there.
him and McMahon are both dubbed into that video.
Yeah, I read about it today. They did it at it was a racquetball court at the facility in Lake Forest.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they did. Like, I guess in front of a green screen.
Yeah, because those two had like prior commitments and they couldn't make it because they filmed the video when they got back from Miami after losing on the Monday night game. It was that Tuesday morning they filmed it.
Yep.
Or Tuesday afternoon.
Treasy, I'm still sore that we weren't allowed to stay up to watch the end of that game. Because we were little kids and mom and dad are like, "No, you got to go to bed. You can't watch the end of this."
That's child abuse.
Yeah, exactly.
That is. I should whoop my dad's ass next time I see him for that shit.
I was laughing. I was looking at the stats, and like Walter carried the ball like 300 and something times that season, right?
Yes.
And then I watched Play It Again Bears, and Calvin Thomas has like a gazillion touchdowns because Walter never had to play the fourth quarter. Like,
Yeah. He had, and I'm looking at my cheat sheet here, 324 carries.
1,500 yards.
Yep, for 1,500 yards.
Jesus. At age 31.
Nine rushing touchdowns, 2 receiving, and 1 throwing.
Yep.
yes, he had the highest quarterback rating, if I remember correctly.
Yes, by far.
Didn't he throw it to McMahon in the Redskins game, I believe it
Yeah,
was?
that's
Yeah.
the touchdown pass. Yeah.
He threw a bomb in another game too. Like
He hit Galt for a long one against Detroit. On the
Yeah,
road.
that was – speaking of Galt, that was an interesting stat that I saw. He only had 1 touchdown catch all season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was you know what it was? It was the first play McMahon came in the Vikings Thursday nighter.
That's
Yeah.
right.
The
Yeah.
only touchdown of the year. That one.
The roller dome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you feel? I have to ask this. How did you feel about Galt? Because I always felt if he caught the first pass, cool, he's going to be okay today. If he dropped it, forget it, man. Don't even throw it to him the rest of the day.
I don't think I was thinking that deeply into it back then.
I knew he was fast.
I was pretty young too. I was pretty young.
Yeah.
even looking back though, I'm watching highlights and stuff. Like they just bombed the ball. Like when there was no in between. There wasn't like any short routes. They just threw the ball 100 yards if they were throwing it at all.
No, they were the anti-West Coast offense. Either run it or bomb it.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, so I got back-to-back here. This team was built on defense, and in my personal opinion, the 46D is keyed on one player, and having this particular player allows everyone else to cause all the mayhem that they caused the tenure of this defense, and that person is Dan Hampton.
Oh yes.
Yes.
One.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only player on that defense that I think I would be physically terrified of if I met in person, even if he was just sitting in shorts and a Hawaiian shirt, and that's Wilbur Marshall.
Oh man. Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And one of those two was going to be my next pick.
He still never got convicted for killing what's his name?
Joe Ferguson.
Joe Ferguson.
Ferguson in Detroit.
I watched that highlight again today. It was just brutal.
If you ever get the chance, there's a couple highlights that I watch before every Bears season. One is the Ferguson hit. Another is the Todd Bell on Joe Washington hit in the '84 playoffs against the Redskins.
Yes, I thought he was dead.
I did too.
Yeah.
And then the third one is a video that's out on YouTube. Just type in Dick Butkus bodies, and it's 3 minutes of Butkus just annihilating people to that song by Drowning Pool, Put the Bodies on the Floor.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than Butkus highlights.
Yes.
I was amazed when I was watching the highlights yesterday. Like there were highlights where they didn't even show the play. Like the Ferguson thing, they didn't show that play. They just showed him laying on the ground. It was a cut to that, and then like a cut to another play. Like they just were like, that quarterback's dead. That's a highlight for us.
Yeah, here comes Eric Hipple.
Or,
The other thing about Wilbur Marshall too is one of the most iconic plays of the entire season. That fumble recovery for the touchdown with the bare weather, snow coming down.
Grabbed by the neck.
NFC Championship.
Yeah, with the neck roll, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
yeah,
Fuck
and Fridge
Eric
keeping
Dickerson.
pace with him.
Yes. Well, Fridge was an athlete.
Yes, he was.
Bridge could jump out of the pool.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
But
right.
if he jumped in the pool, it would be empty. But that's beside the point.
But that I don't know if you were the first Sunday of the Jordan the Bulls thing, Last Dance. Right before that started, it was that Peyton Manning thing
Oh yeah.
about the 85 Bears, and they were showing Fridge doing the box jumps at like 330 pounds, which was super impressive.
Yeah.
He's an animal.
Yes.
I love that guy. Pete, you're up, man.
All right. So I have to go with another member of the defense. And it's Mama's boy Otis, one of a kind. He has the same problem as me. The ladies love him for his body and his mind. So I have to go with Otis Wilson, not only for I believe he led the team in sacks that year. Or no, it was second behind 10.
He was the only
I-
double-digit guy. I think.
10 and a half.
10 and a half. And just, the thing with Wilson is he managed to find his way onto a lot of the highlights. Look at the damage he did in that Dallas game. Poor Danny White had to have back surgery, 15, 20 years later because of the damage he sustained in that game.
That's right.
And don't forget, Otis also made a cameo in the movie The Fugitive as a one of the officers.
Oh, there you go. And I met Otis last year at the Binny's in River Grove. got his autograph. I had him autograph it. Bob up, bear down. He had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. But he looked good. He said he felt good, so it was good.
Was he like promoting something, or did you just like run into him there?
No, he was there signing autographs, promoting something. It was some Miller Lite thing or something. I don't know. But I don't live far from there, so I'm like, oh shit, I'm going over there.
I kind of thought that you just saw him buying like a bottle of whiskey, and you're like, I need your autograph. Right now.
I would have had him sign a bottle of whiskey. I should have done that.
Yeah, that'd been cool.
Maybe you could have got a bottle of Ditka's Kick-Ass Bloody Mary mix or something.
There's wine, yeah.
Or wine. The wine's actually pretty good.
Sure. Everything he does is good, right? Cigars, sausages.
Yes.
The man has never done anything wrong except for trade his entire draft for Ricky Williams.
No, there's another thing he did wrong. That awful picture on the cover of ESPN, the magazine with Ricky Williams.
No, he looks great.
Oh, yeah.
He looks tremendous in that. I won't let you tell me otherwise. All right, Bob, you're up.
All right. I can't even believe he fell to me. He was rated number 2 on my board. It's Mike Singletary, of course, the heart and soul of this great defense. Man, come on.
Another coach.
I'm a natural leader, as evidenced by his coaching ventures since then. But he didn't have huge numbers that season, but he was with that crazed look in his eyes. He was getting into the heads of the quarterbacks. He was running the D. He's the man. Oh,
Bob, which one of his 7 career interceptions are your favorite?
the 3 or the one that he had in the 85 season. Right. But he also had 3 sacks and 4 if you count when his pants were down.
Was waiting for that.
And another story about Singletary. I had a friend that lived by what was it called? It was a golf course out in Bloomingdale, Illinois. Damn it, I can't think of it. Either way, there was like a tournament there, a celebrity tournament, and my buddy's house was right on the fairway. So we're sitting there watching, and Singletary hits a ball into the bushes. So I go running over there, I find it for him. He's like, just pick it up and keep it. So I probably at my parents' house somewhere, but I do have a Mike Singletary, out of bounds golf ball. My claim to fame.
Cool.
All right.
Shit, am I up?
Breeze, you got to turn it.
You got two.
Back.
A lot of good ones on the board.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go offense, and I'm gonna go with McMahon. I'm gonna go Jim McMahon.
How could you not? Right there. A great pick there.
Based solely on that Thursday night game, because I don't think any of his body parts were together, and they just said like, "We're losing. You got to go in and just throw the shit out of the ball," and that's like I think 90% of Dennis McKinnon's yards in his career.
Well, you remember he was begging to get in.
He was. I mean, but like he was obviously all fucked up. I mean, like I think they would have played him if he wasn't hurt. So, like they would have started him. But yeah, I mean, like that game's incredible. And like that guy, he threw himself all over the field. And like the other thing about it, the thing that I like the most about McMahon, the why I respect him the most in that season is watching the Rams play the Bears in the playoffs, when the Bears just said, we're going to put everyone in the box and we're going to make them pass, and watching them try to pass versus
Brock was awesome.
trying to do that to the Bears, they could actually do it. So not that it's a high bar, but in that era, like that's incredible. That you had that great defense, that great run game, but then you actually had a competent quarterback that could get the ball downfield, make a lot of plays, sacrifice his body to make plays, and that's to me the difference between those two teams in that playoff game.
Now let me ask you guys as a group: do you think McMahon would have gone higher if he would have just came out and said he did call that New Orleans radio station and call all the women in New Orleans whores and tramps? He's the number one overall pick, right? If he does that, if he cops to it,
He's definitely a top first rounder.
Yes.
But he did. I mean, you got to give him props for pissing. I don't think it was on Bourbon Street, but it was right off of Bourbon Street in an alleyway. And all the crap with Roselle and antagonizing the commissioner was great. The headbands and everything. That was fun.
Well, I mean, what player these days gives a big fuck you to the commissioner? No one does that shit anymore. That was beautiful.
Yeah, fantastic.
I mean, and if there was ever a commissioner to do it to, you've got him right now. Like they could.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'm going to. I got to go with this guy. He's sitting on my shoulder right now. I'm gonna give it to Buddy Ryan, the 46 defense, man.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
All right, back to you.
He's a disciplinarian, which you are not.
That's true.
R.I.P., buddy. All right, am I up?
Yeah, you're up.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with another guy on the defense, the defensive line, defensive tackle, Steve Mongo McMichael.
Yes.
Do you remember? I mean, I was a kid back then, but you remember like him going on all those shows with his wife and his like whorish wife and the little tiny dog. That was hilarious. Plus the most famous radio commercial of all time, Champagne Room. I mean, the man's a legend.
He had like a TV show, like the Sunday night sports thing.
Right.
Yeah, and he'd go on and shit-faced. He would be shit-faced when he showed up to that.
Yeah, and he'd have his dog with him.
I still think he had his finger up that dog's ass.
I wouldn't put it past him for sure.
I definitely wrote down Steve McMichaels. Like,
you got to write the plural, otherwise it doesn't count.
I couldn't help it.
But the thing with McMichael, I would love to go out drinking with him. But at a certain point, I would pull an Irish goodbye because, you'd reach that point where it'd be like, nothing good's coming out of this. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah.
You got to leave before he wants to start a fight with everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
It's time to get out of there.
All right, Pete, you're up, man.
I am actually I have to go on the offensive side of the ball. And a player who does not get enough credit, who not only played an integral part in Walter Payton's football career, but his life in general, Matt Suhey.
Ah,
Oh,
nice.
wow.
Oh, good pick.
That is a high Suey pick, I think.
Suhey was actually a second-round pick in the draft.
Good pedigree, right? He went to Penn State, I think.
Yes, lawyer. I believe he was the executor of Peyton's will.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. Fucking
Yeah.
nuts.
Fact. I mean, if it is a fact. If you just made it up, it's also interesting. But
I believe it, even if it is made up. I now believe that forever.
I just remember he had a great
on
stash.
the interwebs. I'll go use Wikipedia because Jacob paid for it to exist.
Greasy, you said you watched Play It Again Bears today.
Yeah.
In the opener against Tampa, there's a scene where like Peyton grabs him where he is knocked the fuck out, but he's like still gonna play.
Yeah. Here's the saddest thing about my Play It Again Bears experience is I couldn't find episode 1 and 2.
No.
So I started at game 3. I missed that, but I do remember what you're talking about.
You know, most of the 85 season is on YouTube, the complete games.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't have like 15 hours to do this.
The only one I've watched semi recently was that NFC Championship game that Bob was talking about. And I was watching it thinking about how fucking miserable it had to be an LA Rams fan watching this shit. Like, they couldn't move the ball or anything.
Imagine being a Rams fan that came and watched it in the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
All right, I got back to back. I'm gonna go defense, and I'm gonna go with the position group that didn't get enough credit, in my opinion, on the 46 defense. They're the ones who made sure that all these other guys could rush the passer and they could send 8-9 people. And so my pick here is Leslie Frazier.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
My second pick, turning it around, also defense, but also a key part of the offense. Tremendous athlete. Beautiful, round, wonderful smile. William the Refrigerator Perry.
I was going to take him next and sing the damn verse.
I mean, you can still sing it.
No dumb cookie. I know that.
I'll sing it. You ready? You're looking at the fridge. I'm the rookie. Maybe large, but I'm no dumb cookie. You see me hit. You see me run. When I kick and pass, we have more fun. I can dance. You will see. The others, they all learn from me. I didn't come here looking for no trouble. I just came to do the Super Bowl shuffle.
And then he did that little hand thing.
Yeah,
Well done.
the best part is he's right behind you in the picture.
Yeah. Yeah, pointing right at you.
That's
like
going,
a beautiful angel on your shoulder.
Yes, he is. A very hefty angel on my shoulder.
Robust. Rubenesque.
All right, Pete, you got to follow up that beautiful verse with a pick.
I know. I do. And, you know, I'm going to have to go with another member of the defense. Of the, as Pat Summerall will like to call them, the safety men. And that would be, it's Gary here, and I'm Mr. Clean. They call me Hitman. Don't know what they mean. They throw it long to see me run. I'm on my man, one-on-one. I can't remember the rest of the verse.
Buddies, guys.
Cover it down to the bone. That's why they call it the 40 seconds.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, everybody. Let's scream and yell.
Classic wore the
shuffle
pad behind the head, right? He wore that, like the pad,
He's right there.
the neck thing.
He might have, but
No, that's in
Towards the end of his career.
But speaking of fencing, I was talking to you guys before about an alleged story that I found out when I was in college. My roommate, his aunt was a honey bear, and she said that her and Gary Fensick allegedly would go out and do coke all the time, which, I mean, for the mid 80s is not surprising at all, but you know, there you go. That's my Gary Fensick's,
Well,
behind the scenes story that allegedly happened.
I cannot believe a professional athlete in the 80s is doing coke.
Doing cocaine. Yeah.
and a guy who owned one of the owners of the Hunt Club at one time was doing cocaine.
Oh, he used to own the Hunt Club?
He was one of the owners, yeah.
Wow. So he wasn't with Don Paul in the back of Shinnick's doing coke.
He was classing it up. He couldn't be,
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We don't know for sure.
Allegedly.
Probably was not with the
Kyle
early
Orton.
Chicago Bulls either. The traveling cocaine circus. Alleged.
And by back of Shinnick's, I mean the alley behind it. All right. I don't even know who's up. Oh, it's Bob.
Bob is up.
Bob's up, and this might be the first surprise pick of the draft right here.
Oh, man, I can feel it.
Backup quarterback, Steve Fuller,
Yes.
3-1 as a starter with 1 touchdown pass, but most of all, a very smooth, eloquent, and beautiful dancer. Very-
They say Jimbo is our man. If Jimmy can't do it,
I sure can.
Yeah.
I mean, Steve Fuller played a lot for
Yeah.
a 15-1 season.
Yeah, he was
I feel like
he was
he had-
3-1, but he only had 1 touchdown pass.
But I think he had a bunch of rushing touchdowns, right? Maybe like 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns.
I think he was second on the team in rushing touchdowns.
That's insane.
He had like 5 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, none of them aided by Fridge, by the way.
He was never dragged into the end zone by Fridge.
Right.
All right, let me see. Who do I got here?
I got back-to-back here, Teresi.
Well, I got to go with this guy because of probably one of the greatest punt returns in NFL playoff history. I'm gonna go with Sean Gale for getting that it was Gale, right? Off Landetta's 1 yard or negative whatever yard punt that was.
You got
Yeah,
the
I think
Giants.
so.
2-yard touchdown. So I'm gonna go Sean Gale first.
Off the foot of Sean Landetta.
Great punter.
Barely off the foot. Barely nicked it.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to stick in the secondary. And there's 2 guys that are still very good in the secondary. I'm going to leave one guy because I love this guy, and I'm going to take him. And I'm going to take L.A. Mike Richardson.
Yes. Love that.
You're not gonna sing that one, Pete?
Hold on.
LA Mike.
I had to print out the lyrics to all the players because I couldn't remember all of them.
LA Mike, and I play it cool. Don't sneak by me because I'm no fool.
So the LA Mike thing is it true? I don't know. I was a kid. Is the lazy ass thing true? Is that why he's LA Mike?
Yes.
I love that. That makes me even happier with my pick.
I honestly had never heard that before. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's a Buddy Ryan nickname.
Yes.
Call them lazy ass, and they started calling him LA Mike.
That's hilarious.
I miss Buddy.
Bob, you're up.
All right, I'm going to go to a position that we've been avoiding, and that's an unsung position on this team, and that's the offensive line. And there's a lot of good ones, but I'm going to go with the center, Jay Hilgenberg.
Nice.
Hilgy.
Hilgy.
I don't have any tidbits on him, but
he's like right behind Beef somewhere there.
There he is.
There he is.
Right in the center. How about that?
Is he a foot shorter than everyone on that line?
Yeah,
Pretty
Jesus.
close.
Kurt Becker is a foot taller than he is. He's right next to him.
Yeah.
All right, Pete, you're up.
So there's right here I see 2 guys who I would really like. One because they don't go anywhere without him because he drew some of the toughest assignments on offense, and the other just for the entertainment value of it. But I'm just going to go with the newly named Hall of Famer, Jimbo Covert.
Nice.
Who, if you go back and look, he is the one who drew a lot of the tough assignments. He's the one who had to handle Lawrence Taylor in that giant playoff game. And he was the one who usually had all of the quote-unquote premier defensive players lining up around him. And he handled it flawlessly.
Yeah, it's tough to block Lawrence Taylor. I've used him extensively in Tecmo Bowl. I know how good he is.
Speaking of cocaine, he was also Dan Marino's roommate in college. What that's worth.
Lawrence gave that great motivational speech in The Water Boy, and then got busted like a week after it was released.
Yep. I forgot about that. That's hilarious.
If you got another turnaround, man, let's see what you got.
All right, so I've been staying away from the offense, but I'm going to come back and get me some offense right now. So I'm going to go with the best wide receiver on this team, and that is Dennis McKinnon.
Nice.
All right.
And then I'm going to go with a guy who I just like, who I'm a big fan of. I enjoyed watching him return kicks. Once in a while, they'd let him actually carry the ball or throw him the ball in the backfield, and that's Pinky Gentry.
There you go.
There you go. Nice.
You double dentist there.
Good, I double Dennis right there.
Beautiful. Double D.
Double
A
D's.
double dose of your pimping.
Yeah.
All right.
So my entertainment value guy is still here, so I have to take him now. And this is just basically, now think of a teenage version of me chanting this during a Bears game with my parents looking at me going, what the fuck is wrong with you? We want more head. We want more head.
Nice.
I got to go with Emery Moorhead.
Beautiful.
Didn't Emery Moorhead's like mom curse out Ditka for grabbing him on like Monday Night Football? He
Yeah.
grabbed Emery Moorhead by the and I'm pretty sure the mom called Ditka and cursed him out for doing that shit.
That's awesome. I think Emery Moorhead was second in receptions on that team. Behind Walter. Like
Everybody was behind Walter.
All right, Bob, what do you got?
All right. Sticking with the old double D, I am going to take Dave Duerson.
I was hoping he was going to drop to me. I couldn't believe it for a minute.
Excellent pick. He was a rookie on that team, right? Or is he a rookie in '84?
83, I think. Oh, 83.
Buddy Ryan hated him as a player.
Really?
And the only reason he got to play was because of the Todd Bell holdout.
I'm holding out, right?
Ah.
Duerson had a great season, though.
Oh, yeah.
He had a bunch of picks and
Yeah, he had five picks, fumble recovery.
pretty
Couple
sure he speared a few
couple
guys.
sacks.
I mean, like I just assume everyone on the defense speared guys, though.
That was the calling card.
No, Fridge didn't. He just sat on him.
All right, I'm gonna do something awesome here, and I'm gonna go with the guys who use their feet. I'm gonna go
Ah, nice.
Butler and Buford
There you
on the turnaround. Butler, because I mean, look, if you can hit 83% of your field goals like Kevin Butler, you got a place in the NFL. All right, and then Maury Buford,
Extra points.
beautiful cowbell work in the Super Bowl Shuffle. That's all I needed to see. He's in.
Good picks, but Maury Buford did get a punt blocked in that fucking Miami game, didn't he?
That wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
That was someone else.
That was the ref. That was the ref's fault.
It was the ref's fault. Yeah.
It was possibly the fault of the offensive line not blocking anybody. All right, Bob, you're back up.
All right. I can't believe no one's taken him yet, but I will take Speedy Willie Galt.
Yes.
He was next. He was next on my list.
Oh, that means you know the song for him.
I do.
Speedy Willie, and I'm world class. I know it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, he only caught one touchdown pass that season, but he did have that kickoff return. I think it was week 4. Was that against Washington?
Yeah.
Week 4,
Yes.
kicked that or brought that back. I think it was like a 100-yard return. I think that sparked the entire season because the first few games of the season, they were a little shaky. They were giving up some points. And then ever since then, they kind of locked it down and shut people down.
That's true. They were pretty lethargic those first, especially week 1 and week 3. Week 1, give them 28 fucking points to the Bucks.
Well, that's because you've seen that picture of Jim McMahon bringing like cases of Bud Light to training camp. I mean, they're not doing anything in training camp.
Well, they had to go since training camp.
That's right.
But that's why game 1 and 2 are not on Play It Again Bears. They're just
Too embarrassed of those games.
they give you game 3 and then they show you that get right into the ass whooping of the Redskins that that they put on.
Yeah, you miss out on those great Tampa Bay uniforms back then.
Oh man, I love the Dreamsicle.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about getting a Dreamsicle Bo Jackson jersey because Bo
You want
originally
the guy
got
to hate you
drafted
even
by
more?
Tampa.
He pretty much hates everybody.
What's that?
He pretty much hates everybody, Bill, but he'll hate you just a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Pete, I think you're up, man.
Yep, Pete's
So,
up.
is it me or is it?
It's you.
Yeah, Bob just took golf, so you're
Yeah,
up.
that's right. Yeah, okay. I got to go with the offensive line to the former Bears player, now one of the voices of the Bears, Tom Thayer.
There you go.
Living the dream in Hawaii in the offseason.
Now, Pete,
Wow.
we got into it now. I think that's our third offensive lineman. What do you think of their offensive line, Beef? You told me a little something earlier. I want you to just let it out.
I think that their offensive line is chronically overrated. It's the most overrated unit on the entire fucking team. And for a couple different reasons. One, they could never fucking keep McMahon healthy. Like, how can you be, like, consider, oh, this is a great offensive line, fucking starting quarterback is in pieces all the goddamn time. And two, yeah, they ran the ball well, but they had the GOAT of all-time rushers back there running the goddamn ball. Like, not that they look great after him. Like, when Peyton was gone, I mean, yeah, Neil Anderson's pretty good, but it's, come on, give me a break. That offensive line, super overrated.
Serve the purpose.
I don't know if I like you after that.
How dare you speak ill of the
I
beloved?
purposely asked you right now because you got your 7th and 8th pick to go right here. And there's not much left. So I want to see you dance around that now.
No, I got to go offensive line here, and mostly because Danny Mac said that this guy has one of the biggest dicks he's ever heard of. And so I'm going to go with Keith Van Horn.
Yeah. Okay.
Keith Van Horn has the big horn down there, and I'm
Yeah.
going to go with him first, Can't believe you guys left that Bing Wanger on the board.
I've
We knew
actually
you wanted
saw
that big wanger.
I saw Keith Van Horn maybe like 2 or 3 years ago at a Chris Robinson concert.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sitting right next to us, we had one of those little booths, at what was it, Park West or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you, I mean, not that you were looking, but could you see, like, was it a little, like.
No, I definitely wasn't looking, but he is a huge dude. I can tell you that much.
All right, and my next pick, this is a real tough one. If I went with my next highest guy on the board, it would be a defensive reserve, but fuck that, we're not going to go with that. I'm going to go with a guy who was underrated and likely not very good, but I enjoyed watching him, and he wore black shoes, which is kind of weird. He's a wide receiver. I looked up his stats in the past. He had a game in 1981 in which he caught 10 passes for 140 yards for the Bears. I was amazed. That's probably more yards than he had all the rest of his career. And my final pick is Ken Marjoram.
Nice.
Beautiful pick. I can't believe I have to cross him off my list.
How many do you have listed? 60?
I have 74 players listed. All right, Pete. Last pick, man. Who you got?
This one may be a little controversial, but I stand by it, and I'll explain why. I have to go with Jim Finks, the architect of this team. He is the guy who did all of the drafting for almost all of those number one picks, And I heard a story actually today on the radio saying he did not want to draft McMahon because he thought he was injury prone, but he was overruled. So, but if you look at how the team was built, how many number one draft picks they had that hit, you have to go with Jim Finks.
I'm going to pretend I know how to spell that.
It's totally
All right.
true. I mean, like Bob was saying earlier, Dent was an 8th round pick. They found Dent in the back of the draft and, got a Hall of Fame round. I mean, it's just the whole team is basically drafted players.
There's some silly shit with Dent too, right? Like he was way underweight or something because his teeth were all fucked up. Like,
he couldn't.
Story.
He had some sleeping issues because of his teeth, I think, was part of it, and then he couldn't eat or something, so they got his teeth fixed, and then all of a sudden he exploded.
Imagine that. That was back before the Moneyball days when those little intricacies right there were out there for you. You could really get an edge.
They're like,
That guy who has no teeth, give him some dentures and he'll be able to eat and he'll get better.
gonna fix this guy's teeth, give him some steroids. He's gonna.
Oh, can I add one other thing about Beef's rant about the offensive line? Look at the offensive line now compared to what they were like back when they played. Do you think they had a little help? Just a little bit?
Out there looks like a marathoner now.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Bob. Last
All right.
one.
All right, my last one is not a regular, but he had an interception return for a touchdown in Super Bowl 20 that I'll never forget. Number 48, the rookie out of SMU, Reggie Phillips.
Yes, excellent pick.
Love it. I love that pick.
Didn't he get out of SMU just before the death sentence was handed down?
That I don't know.
That's right around that time. That's
Probably right, because
Craig James and Eric Dickerson. Right?
Dickerson
Yes.
is probably right around the same age.
Yeah.
The Pony Express, right? Is what they were called? Pony Express?
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
That's a good 30 for 30.
That is a good 30
Yeah.
for 30. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I mean, I'm gonna lose my Hispanic card if I don't take this pick. So like, this is easy. And unless you guys want to go a couple more rounds, I got more players here. I could. There's a guy that I am shocked is not picked, but I'm gonna take Ron Rivera to close it out. And good luck to him coaching in Washington. I mean, like, everyone's successful there, so I think he'll be fine. But I'm
He's
going
off-
to take him with
He's
my.
up to a
Marquis
good start with
Johnson.
Chase Young, though.
That's true. That's true. That was a nice pick. That guy had 452 people in his house.
Are we live right now?
No, we're not.
Oh.
Why, you want me to edit something out?
No, someone just tweeted something about they want my camera to reveal myself. So
I snapped a picture and I tweeted it out.
Oh, okay.
We're going or something like that. So,
all right.
yeah,
So,
be
I
happy.
mean, Bob, I'll let you empty out your list first if there's other guys that you had listed that you wanted to throw in there.
Well, I mean, no one took Bortz, so
Yeah.
that was probably the next guy on my list.
Bortz, I was gonna make fun of too in my offensive line rant because the guy was playing in the USFL 33 seconds before the fucking season started, and then they grabbed him, and all of a sudden he's a fucking starter. That's
Yeah,
how good the offensive line
They
is.
said he played like 35 regular season games and then like a bunch of playoff games in 12-month span.
Yeah, you gotta be a tough guy to do that shit. Man.
Yeah, seriously. Was that Thayer? I don't know if that was Thayer or Bortz.
No, I think it's Bortz. I think you're right.
I think it was Bortz.
But yeah, I mean, what was my other guy? Or Keith Ortego? I mean, come on.
Yes.
Gotta love that guy.
That's what I thought Beef was originally going with when he said that. Because I just remember that Monday night highlight that, Keith Ortego.
And then the one guy that I never even heard of before, but he played started a couple games, was Cliff Thrift.
I was going to say him. That was one of the guys on my
He's
list.
a linebacker, right?
Yeah.
Was he a linebacker? Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 52, I think.
There's another guy that's out there that I can't believe no one took.
No one took Calvin Thomas.
Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, that's one of the ones I was saying, but there's another. Tom Zach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Tom Zach barely played that year.
Yeah, but he got in the Super Bowl. The
It's
Bears
true.
were up so
Yeah,
much.
15-yard face mask penalty, right?
Yeah, the Bears were up so much they had their third stringer in the Super Bowl quarterbacking.
Fifth best passer on that team, though.
Hey, top five, close
Oh, yeah,
enough.
because Buford threw one, right?
Buford did, yeah. Buford and Peyton had the two highest quarterback ratings on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Twinsy. No one went with Calvin Thomas.
Yeah.
No one went with Mike Hartenstein.
Well, my roommate's aunt,
Wexter?
Gary Fensick, and Kelvin Thomas went somewhere, I'm sure. Allegedly.
Allegedly. No, for sure.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe cocaine stories. No one was doing cocaine in the 80s.
Nah.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone else you got on your list?
Henry Wexter, who's
Oh, yeah.
got the
Yeah,
safety,
she's safety in the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl,
Yeah.
yes, to make it 46-10.
All I was looking at the kick returners, and I think Ken Taylor is like one of the return. He had like 3 interceptions that season, though.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember this guy at all, but he had 3
Like a
interceptions.
backup secondary guy, like number 31, I think. What about a backup tight end, Tim Reitman?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was watching those
Receiver.
highlights and I saw that guy get a catch, and I was like, "Is that RoboCop?"
Where's that big clump of grass on his face mask?
Is that Cap Boso? I didn't know he was on that team.
Treasy, that's a
What about
blog post. All the irrelevant tight ends from the 80s that the Bears had.
Well, you could go with all the irrelevant tight ends that the Bears have now.
Hey,
I couldn't name
never
both
have
of them.
enough. You could never have enough.
I saw that thing where they're like, "Why did they draft this guy? They have 10 tight ends," and I was like, I can't name one.
They have 9 now because they cut one.
Like, I'm pretty sure Jimmy Graham's on our team. That's the only one I know of.
Mm-hmm. They cut one yesterday. Don't
Yeah,
ask me who, but they cut one.
it was the guy. Didn't they trade for him or something? I forgot what his name was.
Tim Reitman. He's back.
You want or
Moorhead's kid plays, right? Is he on the?
Who's that?
All right, Emery Moorhead's kid.
He was on the Colts team that beat the Bears in the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Because people were giving him, "Why are you cheering for the Colts and not the Bears?" And he's like, "Because my kid plays for the Colts."
I'll give him that.
That doesn't matter. I can't give him that. It's like I was upset with McMahon and McMichael for playing for the Packers, and I know a couple other guys did too, Tom Zach and somebody else. But McMichael came out and said, "I was just taking money for them. I wasn't even good at football anymore. I was just taking their money." And then McMahon won a Super Bowl with them, with Favre as their quarterback. And when they went to the White House, he wore a Bears jersey.
Yes, he did. He wore his number 9 Bears jersey to the White House.
That's enough.
So they earned the respect back.
Yes.
I did not know that. I'd never seen that. I kind of want to find a picture of that now.
Oh, there's
I
pictures
saw a
out
picture
there.
the other day, so it was circulating somewhere.
And McMahon positioned himself well, so you couldn't miss it.
What a dick. I love it.
That's why you got to
He's our
love him.
dick.
All right, I think that's it. I really appreciate you guys jumping on and doing this. It was a lot of fun. It was good to relive these memories. It was great to watch Play It Again Bears. I encourage
Finally, the '85 Bears get some pub.
Yes.
They're the least written about, in the blogs at least, they're the least written about team that there ever has been. So we're going
Didn't
to shine a little light
ESPN
on
forget they won the Super Bowl or something like that?
I forgot anyone else won a Super Bowl other than them.
Do
All
you
right,
remember
guys.
who the winners are of the Super Bowl every year? I'm sort of blacked out at that point, so you know.
It's at that point, I'm so deep into the season and drinking and getting ready to drink even more for this baseball season. The Super Bowl, I can't tell you who played this year's Super Bowl.
I just email everyone I'm in pools with. Did I win any money? Send it to me.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Shakira won this year's Super Bowl, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I agree. I've seen that highlight. I'm sure my friend Summer has seen that highlight too. That might have broken one of his streaks.
Thanks a lot, Pete, for joining us. Gas Money Bob, thank you so much for coming on with
That
us.
was my pleasure, man.
We had
Thanks,
a good
guys.
time. Thanks, guys.
Talk to you soon.
All right,
All right.
later.
See ya.